Curtis seemed kind of disappointed, as if Curtis really needs two children from two baby mamas right now. But I digress. What is up, everybody? Here to talk about yesterday's pretty damn solid episode of General Hospital, I must say. Not the most dramatic, but it was a good, character episode, especially for someone like me that didn't watch consistently in January or February and who watched kind of consistently in November and December, but that was my first time back in 3 years of watching the show. And I still felt like it was hard to kind of get the gist of everything back in November and December because the show has so many characters and so many storylines. But now that I'm getting the gist of it, seeing all of the character work yesterday was good. I mean, I liked Sonny and Diane talking about business. We have learned that Sonny is now letting Rick do the more shadier law stuff in his business, and he had to break that news to Diane. Sonny is saying that he didn't want to put Diane or keep her in all the dangerous work anymore, even though she's been doing it for decades. But she learned that he hired Rick instead, and that he's doing it not because of it's a slight against her, but because it's his brother. And Rick is his last family, and he wants to be able to rely on his last sibling, Rick, even with all of their history. It continues to build this brotherhood between Rick and Sonny that I think has been a very good change of pace for both characters. So I enjoyed that. And then Rick, meanwhile, ran into Alexis, who was waiting to meet with Diane. And Alexis was trying to avoid him, but he sat with her to talk. He wanted to thank her for holding him hostage in her basement when that happened. He's saying it gave him a period of reflection, which has helped him and Sonny and made him want to change and be a better family member for Sonny. Alexis was warning him to think about Molly in this situation, but he talked about how he's hiding information from Molly about the stuff that Alexis and Christina did. It's always good to see Alexis called out on her hypocrisy, quite frankly. Then Liz arrived, who earlier in the episode, Liz was talking with Isaiah at the hospital, who was looking for Liz's help in choosing a gift for Portia. Liz was asking him if he's really okay with where things are moving with him and Portia getting more serious. And Isaiah seemed to be good with that. We'll circle back to Isaiah and Portia in a second. Liz had her little date with Rick, and I like this use of history between Rick and Liz. I feel like Rick has always kind of needed Liz in his life to keep him on the straight and narrow. The bad thing in the past, though, is when things don't work out for him and Liz. That's kind of when Rick goes off his rocker. It could happen again, although that might be a little redundant. I don't know how far they are going to take this Rick and Sonny actually becoming closer and actually becoming real brothers. But it is a good change for both of those characters. And I think it's we actually get to see Rick evolve, maybe. I like the Liz and Rick pairing more than I like the potential Liz and Dante pairing, because Rick Hurst, who plays Rick, is always great. On every soap opera he's ever been on, which is a lot of soap operas, he's always been great at getting chemistry out of the women that are in scenes with him. And he has it with Alexis still, but he also has it with Liz still. So it is much more fun for me to watch Rick and Liz than it was to see them test Liz and Dante last week, but they still might go the Liz and Dante route. But I enjoyed the Liz and Rick scenes, and Liz kind of getting to see Rick be a changed man, where he is trying to be friends with Alexis now, and he's trying to work with Sonny. And Rick did tell Liz in these scenes, though, that he's working with Sonny because he needs a job and he wants to put roots down for Liz. So I guess my fear in the storyline is when Rick and Liz probably don't work out, Will Rick fall apart again? I guess that is something we need to watch for. Trina and Kai were hanging out with Gio and Emma when Josh was there, seeing them together. Josh has kind of alienated herself from this friend group, and I think she was feeling bad in this episode about that. But she was also having flashbacks to her argument with Carly a couple weeks ago. Josh did decide to join them, and Josh had to get caught up on Trina's life that she's going to be singing at an open mic night when Charlie's reopens. So Kai and Trina are hoping Josh can make that event. But Brendan and Colum were also there plotting, which distracted Jocelyn and made her want to go. But she ended up running into Colum on the way out when Trina was walking her out, and the Colum and Joss interaction was very awkward. Trina asked Joss why it was so awkward and who that guy is, and Joss tried to play it off that the guy is a creepy guy that she keeps running into, but she's trying to be friendly to him. It was good to see Joss and Trina still be friends, I guess. They talked about Brennan and Joss and how Josh is fighting with Carly because of Brennan, even though it's really because of Valentine. Trina understands what it's like to be arguing with a parent, and tried to tell Joss that she needs to just try and talk to Carly again, and maybe it will make her feel better like it made Trina feel better with conversations with Portia. This is yet another example of General Hospital doing their friendships good. It is what General Hospital does best. Trina and Josh's friendship here. We also saw Alexis and Diane's friendship in this episode as they commiserated over Sonny cutting half of Diane's workload. So that is something that the show definitely continues to be good at. Brennan and Callum were talking about Emma being there and how she's Anna Devane's granddaughter. And later, Emma and Brennan had a confrontation because Emma blames the WSB for destroying her grandma Anna's life. I don't know where Anna is in the story. Someone please tell me in the comments. Last time I saw Anna is when I was watching more consistently in the early winter and she was being kidnapped. Don't know what has happened to her since then. Sounds like she got hurt or is in a bad state or still missing. I'm not exactly sure. But Emma seemed to blame Brennan a lot for that. And then Colum and Brennan talked more about Anna. Carly arrived home to find Valentine downstairs instead of up in the attic. He wanted to talk to her about them sleeping together and asked her if it was the beginning of something or the end of everything. Carly didn't really want to discuss it. She doesn't seem to like that they blurred the lines and they don't need that distraction because too much is at stake for the mission they are trying to accomplish. I did like Valentine joking about how Jason has decided not to kill him and how Jason seems to trust him with Carly, but Jason had threats for Valentine that if something happens to Carly, Jason will track him down. But they did talk about sleeping together a little bit. Valentine was hoping that she doesn't feel like he took advantage of her and was hoping that she doesn't regret it. Carly said that she had no regrets. And so I'm assuming they're still slowly building that Carly and Valentine relationship, which I'm fine with for now. Sonny then dropped by to see Carly and talk about Jason leaving again. Carly told Sonny about her fight with Joss. He asked what they fought about, and Carly flashed back to that fight with Jocelyn saying that Sonny is responsible for Morgan's death and his kids always being in danger. So Carly had to tell Sonny that they fought because of him. Of course, after Trina gave Jocelyn the advice to go talk to Carly again, she arrives with Sonny there and is not happy about that. Sonny tried to talk to her about being upset with him, and she said that they can't really work it out. Josh said that if Sonny leaves the country and does the right thing by his children, she will send him a postcard. I like Jocelyn being hard on Sonny. It's long overdue for a character to be hard on Sonny. Joss felt some way about Sonny for a long time. I think they got over it for a while, but now it is back. It's good to see a character treat Sonny like the dangerous kind of scumbag mob boss that he's been for so long. And I also think that the show needed Jocelyn to be more likable, since a lot of people don't see her as an actual WSB agent because it really doesn't mesh or work well. But Jocelyn attacking Sonny is something I am here for. So Jocelyn continued to give Carly hell by still defending Sonny, and Carly is ridiculous still defending Sonny here over her daughter, although I guess Carly is just trying to protect and love everyone in her life. Joss told Carly that she is doing what she always does and refusing to see how her decisions hurt others. Carly told her that she put Joss and her siblings first, and she's always done that. Joss said that she's not talking about the past, she's talking about the choices Carly is making right now. And then Joss stormed out, and Sonny looked on inquisitive. So I guess we'll see when Sonny finds out about Carly and Valentine, if he doesn't already know. I don't know. And the other stuff today, we had Stella trying to call Portia out on her BS yesterday, telling her to stay out of Jordan's pregnancy business, which I thought was ironic coming from Stella, because Stella is always in everyone's business. But Portia told Stella that she wouldn't weaponize Jordan's pregnancy like Jordan did hers. Stella was trying to get Portia to be over the whole Jordan beef, which would be nice if they could actually get over it and move on to different stories. Because she was telling Portia that if Jordan wasn't around, would Portia's marriage to Curtis still be a thing? And Portia said no, because she ended her marriage. So they yapped more about how Jordan and Curtis and Isaiah will all be in Portia's baby's life, and Portia needs to let go of resentments. And it seemed to be a good conversation between Portia and Stella, with Portia thanking Stella for a reality check. And then Portia went to Isaiah to confirm to him that her marriage is over and she is enjoying moving forward with him. And then we got the big news that Jordan is not pregnant, thankfully, as I talked about yesterday for Monday's episode. Curtis didn't even realize she was pregnant. And then they talked about, Curtis seemed kind of disappointed, as if Curtis really needs 2 children from 2 baby mamas right now. But I digress. They then talked about some of the problems between Portia and Jordan is saying that Portia will be a good mom. Maybe we're making progress on the Portia and Jordan beef. I would like to see both women in new stories and not still in this repetitive mess. But we'll see if GH actually takes the time to go there. But overall, yesterday's episode was very good. I enjoyed all of the character dynamics and all of the character friendships and the problems between people. It was a very good character-driven episode yesterday, which is not always easy to come by on the soap operas these days. But good for GH yesterday. I hope they keep that momentum this week. And best of all, we didn't have to deal with Molly and what's his ass in this episode, so that was great too. Cody, I think his name is. So yeah, hope the rest of the week is as solid.